with that little box that never wears out, that's guaranteed for life. And it'll sterilize the water anywhere you go. It'll sterilize a quart of water in about 5 minutes. It'll make colloidal silver water out of distilled water or reverse osmosis water and in about 12 minutes. And yes, you can get a colloidal silver, you can get a parts per million device to test, a tester to test the water. But as long as you see a cloud and it's been about 12 minutes, you've got your 10 to 15 parts per million or more, maybe up to 20 parts per million, and you only need 10 parts per million. But it takes about 12 minutes for a quart, about 40 minutes for a gallon of distilled water. You can make a gallon of colloidal silver water that kills all viruses. Although I find in the field here in Jamaica, when I've given someone colloidal silver water, some of the toughest cases, when they come back to me and say, hey, it helped, but I'm better, but I'm really still fighting this, is because they got a low immune system, which we need to build up the immune system and on these people, because you come to you with they've had such a diet where they've never taken any vitamins. Their diet is, they're still on milk and meat and sugar and soda pops. Maybe they smoke cigarettes or other things, and their immune system is low. and these people, then I need to use not only the colloidal silver water, drinking anywhere from 16 to 32 ounces a day of this water, sipping it throughout the day for 3 or 4 days. And I was a test case. Once took me 21 days to get rid of the worst virus I ever contacted, because I've had a bunch of them. Because people bring me their viruses. They come to me and say, I've got a virus. I say, gee, thanks for coming to see me. And, and then I come down with it too. And then I have to use my colloidal silver water generator and start sipping on that colloidal silver water. But we find with people with compromised immune system, they can get over any kind of a virus within 3 days if they have two things: the colloidal silver water and a formula called CVF Be Gone. CVF Be Gone stands for cold virus flu. And it's formula number 1126. When that formula was first made 50 years ago by Dr. Christopher, he called it the anti-plague formula. Well, of course, they locked him up and put him in jail, said, you can't say that. Because there was always locking up Dr. Christopher and putting him in jail, because he was outspoken. And you can't, and the government it's kind of like China. And our government mentality 50 years ago was it was okay to destroy you, vilify you, and be bad to you if you were, because the FDA hated anybody who dared to say that natural remedies were good for you. And so they put him in jail lots of times. But he was a friend of mine, and I spent a lot of time in Utah, where he came from. And I studied with the Mormons there, the LDS. And I learned all the natural remedies, including that formulation, which was very difficult and different way to make a formulation than any other herbal formula I ever made. But it's got organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, vegetable glycerin, raw manuka honey, wormwood leaf, marshmallow root, white oak bark, black walnut hulls, mullein leaf, skullcap, myrrh, hydrangea root, garlic, and some other ingredients as well. It's all on the label. But that CVF, cold virus flu. And when I called it CVF, the FDA said, you can't say CVF. So when you look at it now, I'm not sure what it'll say on the label. But it used to say anti-plague formula. And they said, well, you can't say that. So we had to change it. We changed it and made it CVF. Maybe that'll still be the label. But what the FDA likes to do is make you change the name over and over and over. So every time somebody comes to you and says, I want CVF formula, well, you tell them, well, that's not the name of it anymore. Now it's this name. And they're confused and they ask you, well, what's still in it? It's still the same anti-plague formula it was 50 years ago. But it works. In conjunction with the colloidal silver water, I've never had a case that never got over the flu. And they get over it in 3 days. And I don't care what kind of virus it is, that's more than a virus can handle. It just destroys it, even when you have a low immune system. But don't challenge the system. If you've got a low immune system, let's work on it. Let's work on that low immune system. And we'll talk more about that today. And that's what I wanted to share regarding, we got all this bad news. It's time for some good news. The good news is there is something that destroys any virus, and that is colloidal silver water, and especially on the tough cases when you've got that cold virus flu formula. And Dr. Peterman, did you have anything to share regarding that?
No, not at all. I totally agree. I've had today, and they didn't make any more recommendation of changing product names, but I had to make a change. I had some arthritis formula, and I had some diabetic formula, and they said, "Oh, I get it." Okay, so I changed it to blood and pancreas support and joint support for arthritis, and just that. So, they have to have their little party, and so that's that. So I've run in with them before too.
Time Challenger Labs is Dr. Peterman's website. Time Challenger Labs. And on Time Challenger Labs, you'll see the kinds of products that help to build up your immune system. One of the most unique products there is the mitochondrial advantage, because I've never seen anybody else that had a mitochondrial product before. But Dr. Peterman, being a naturopathic doctor and a very bright fellow, has created this mitochondrial advantage. That's going to boost up the immune system. Resveratrol, that's going to boost up the immune system. And he's got colloidal silver water that works, and that'll. So he's got a joint support formula for the achy bones. Now, see, that's the thing. See, this virus hits the respiratory system. So you want to make sure you're using things that are for the respiratory, that are going to work on the respiratory system, and which is one of the reasons why, when I get over to my common condition reports over on herbalhealthreview.com, herbalhealthreview.com, I go down to common conditions and I look at the common condition reports, and I go down to asthma and bronchitis and hay fever and respiratory system. So I'm looking at that asthma, bronchitis, hay fever, respiratory system report, and then you're attacking the virus right where it's attacking you, and that's in the respiratory system. So you can get normal lung and airways, and an inflamed lung and airways. Those are the things you need to know what to do. And where does it start? Very first product that it's talking about is to use there's that colloidal silver water generator. Now the thing about the colloidal silver water generator, which is good for the respiratory tract because it's fighting that virus, it's but the thing about the colloidal silver water is when you're done using antibiotics, when you're done using the colloidal silver water, is that the end of it? No, that is not the end of it. No, what is going to be done? What the end of it is when you are then taking acidophilus powder to restore the friendly bacteria, because anything that's going to destroy bacteria, fungus, and viruses is going to destroy some of the good bacteria. And folks, that's something that you must do every day. Every day you need to take acidophilus. Acidophilus is a powder, acidophilus is a capsule, and if you're trying to get it in yogurt, you're going the wrong direction, because that's not where you're going to get it. There's not enough in there in the yogurt to be of any real value, and you've got dairy, which is not good. So it's just not a good thing to do. But the acidophilus powder, the acidophilus capsules that you can get from probably Dr. Peterman and from Health and Herbs, and their telephone number is 541-791-8400. That's Health and Herbs, where you can get these things that I'm talking about, and you can get them at a discount. Just ask for your discount, and the discount code is GOCC. But colloidal silver water. But when you're done with colloidal silver water, you always have to make sure that you get back on your acidophilus. There's no reason to take colloidal silver water and acidophilus at the same time, because you're destroying bacteria, and you're going to destroy some of the good guys along with all the bad guys. So make sure you're taking that probiotics acidophilus powder every single day to make sure that's strong. That's going to build your immune system. That is one of the foundations of your immune system. So don't neglect it. And that's when we're talking about the immune system, we're talking about acidophilus powder. Let's keep that good bacteria up there. Let's talk to Dr. Peterman about that mitochondria that he has. Because he's got some, and resveratrol, and other things that he has that can be helping you to build your immune system. So these are important. And the telephone number for Dr. Peterman. Are you ready to write? Get your pen ready, because when I'm talking, I'm going to give you a phone number. I'm not going to just say Dr. Peterman and you're going to say, well, how do I reach Dr. Peterman? I know he's got these great products, but how do I reach him? You call him on the phone, and his telephone number is 512-252-8415. That's 512-252-8415. I'll say it one last time. 512-252-8415. That's Time Challenger Labs, and you can reach Dr. Peterman there. But when we're talking about the respiratory system, cat's claw herb, and I made it as a tea, because cat's claw doesn't have much of a flavor, if any. So I spiced it with some natural raspberry, cinnamon, orange, ginger flavors, so it had a nice flavor, and a little bit of stevia to sweeten it up with natural, so there's no sugar in it, but it has got a pleasant flavor. But cat's claw is for the respiratory system. You can get it as a tea. You can get it as a tincture. Cleaning out the liver is going to help the respiratory system. With that 1078 colon and liver cleansing liquid to make sure your bowel movements are soft, and that you're cleaning the blood and cleaning the digestive tract and cleaning up the colon and getting rid of all the things you would want to get rid of. That's number 1078 CAC liquid. And that's for everybody except people who are constipated. People who are constipated, they need an herbal tea that gets rid of constipation and trains the bowel to go back to work again and is not habit forming. Most things that are for constipation are habit forming. Aloe vera, absolutely wonderful. However, if you stay on it for a little while, you can't get off of it because it's habit forming. And if you don't take it, you can't go to the bathroom. So, the CACT number 4110, 4110, number 4110. That is the T that gets rid of constipation and trains the bowel to go back to work again. And then if you start out needing 2 or 3 cups a day, pretty soon you only need 2. Then you only need 1. Then you only need half a cup. Then you don't need it anymore. The bowel goes back to work again. You don't need the tea anymore. And then here's the secret though. The secret is it's cleaning everything out. But you're reabsorbing things, as you're trying to get rid of them, unless you know about the number 4837 fiber that has bentonite clay and all the super green foods in it to help to detox. The fiber is detoxing, pulling all the toxins and so forth into it. The bentonite clay is a magnet that is pulling toxins and heavy metals into the clay. And it's called number 4837 fiber with bentonite clay. And you use, and I don't like, some people put it in with their power drink. I like to take it totally alone in the evening, 2 hours before dinner, so that you're on an empty stomach. And you're taking that powder, and you're putting it in some water, juice, or tea. And you stir it up and drink it before it gels. That gel will slide through the body and pull like a magnet. It sucks everything into that gel, even the moisture in your digestive tract. So you're going to have to follow it with another big glass of water just to make sure you're not dehydrated. But it's collecting everything and it's pulling everything into it. When it hits the liver, it's cleaning up the liver. When it hits the bowel, it's cleaning house and collecting everything into it, and out that gel goes. And you feel fantastic. You have more spring in your step. That is the premium detox solution. There's only one thing that you could do to improve that, and that would be to add a heavy metal detox liquid. That's right. And of course the FDA says these days you can't say detox anymore. You can't put detox on the label. I don't know, maybe they've banned free speech where you can't say it anymore too, so who knows, they're the government. They act like the Chinese government, really. But the heavy metal detox, let's go heavy metal. Let's go HEAVY. So I'm over here on betterhealthherbs.com. Betterhealthherbs.com. That's the manufacturer's website that manufactures all the natural remedies that I invented. And heavy metal is a liquid. It's a liquid, and the name of it is heavy metal. It's a heavy metal detox. But it doesn't say detox, so that's okay. If it said detox, it couldn't be sold, according to the FDA. You can't have that. You can't say that. The government does not want you to know these remedies exist, that they help people, and the pharmaceutical industry is spending billions of dollars to try to stop people like me. I never know when I'm going to get a bullet in the back of my head. I really don't. I mean, they poisoned me with cadmium poisoning. They've harassed me and chased me around and threatened me and intimidated me and made my life miserable. And again, they're just like the Chinese. There's nothing above what they might do. So, heavy metal. It's got chlorella algae in it, cilantro leaf, coriander seed, garlic bulb, turmeric root, milk thistle seed, and structured water, and 20% alcohol. Or if you prefer, it could be made in a glycerite with no alcohol. All of those products could be made as a glycerite without any alcohol if you desire. Anyway, that's it. I would have a squirt or two of the heavy metal detox along with that number 4837 fiber. Now you're pulling all the junk out of your body, heavy metals, toxins. And you do this for 2 weeks. That's it. 2 weeks, and you're done. You're done. You've done it. So these are things that are going to help the respiratory system. It's going to help you to build yourself up. And then there is a respiratory herbal formulation. And that respiratory herbal formulation is made with tincture extracts of wild cherry, mullein, golden seal root, slippery elm bark, colt's foot leaf, comfrey leaf, marshmallow root, and lobelia, and a little dash of cayenne to stimulate and dilate and open up all the cells. It's called number 1378 respiratory formula. This is the kind of products that you would use.
I'm on next.
And I've got an open microphone, and I'm going to find it. And I'm looking for it. And
Hello, Truman. It's Joe.
And I'm down here. And in Cleveland, did you have a? Well, maybe not. I don't see where the open mic is.
Joe.
Here it is. Here it is. Brother Joe, your microphone is open. Did you have a question, topic, or suggestion?
Hello, Truman. How are you this evening?
I'm blessed. My goodness, it's been like over 30 years that you and I have been saying hi to each other. How you doing, my friend?
Now it's become very special as of late, my friend. What do you think about the herb dill for constipation and or detoxification?
What about those herbs?
Dill, D-I-L-L, dill. As in dill pickles.
You said B-I-L-L?
Yeah, dill. You know, dill. It's a plant, dill pickles. You know.
I don't
I
know
made
because
it.
I've got an echo and I'm trying to pick up exactly what the words are you're saying, Joe. Say that again.
Okay. Dill.
Gel, G-E-L.
No, D-I-L.
D-I-L. Dill, D-I-L.
I mean, D-I-L-L. Yes.
Dill.
Yes.
Okay. What about dill?
I find it to be a very good anti-constipation. I made a tincture years ago. I use it occasionally. It's like dynamite. I'm wondering what you think of it. It's very powerful to me, my system.
So what do I think about dill? Okay, dill, D-I-L-L. Benefits. Let's talk about dill for a minute here. Okay, benefits. All right. Okay, let's talk about dill. Well, let's talk about dill. Okay. Besides being a flavorful herb, dill, also called dill weed. The plant has slender stems and alternating soft leaves, and it's brown, and it's flat, has oval seeds. While the leaves have a sweet and grassy flavor, dill seeds are aromatic, with a slight citrus flavor that's similar to caraway seeds. As an herb and spice, dill is commonly used to elevate the flavor of various dishes. It's often paired with salmon, potatoes, and sauces. And so in addition to culinary uses, dill is rich in several nutrients and has traditionally been used to treat various ailments, including digestive issues. So that's why it's good for your digestion. It's used for colic in infants, and it's even used for bad breath. So we're going to talk a little bit about it just for a moment here. Dill, because it's good for digestive issues. Okay, 1 cup of dill, which is about 9 grams of fresh dill sprigs, provides approximately 4 calories. 8% of it is vitamin C, 5% manganese, 4% vitamin A, 3% folate, and 3% iron. Fresh dill is very low in calories, yet a surprisingly good source of several essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C, manganese, and vitamin A. And vitamin A is an essential nutrient that is also important for maintaining vision, which is also good for night blindness. And also vitamin A is supporting a healthy immune system. See, these are the kinds of things we need. Also plays a role in male and female reproduction. Similarly, vitamin C is vital for your immune system. We got another thing for the immune system. Vitamin C is in there for the immune system. It helps with bone formation, wound healing, and metabolism. And additionally, it's been shown to be a potent antioxidant that helps protect cells against damage caused by unstable molecules known as free radicals. Dill is also a good source of manganese. While needed in small amounts, it is an essential mineral that supports normal functioning of your brain, nervous system, and metabolism, and the metabolism of sugar and fat. So furthermore, dill provides 1 to 2% of the daily value of calcium, copper, magnesium, potassium, riboflavin, and even zinc. However, as fresh dill is usually consumed in smaller quantities, 1 cup, 9 grams, the amount of nutrients you'd get from sprinkling it over your food would be considerably less. So that's a little bit about dill. What do you think, Joe?
I appreciate that, Truman. It's always nice to hear your feedback. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Joe. All right. If anyone else has a comment, a suggestion, a topic, I see an open mic over there in Ohio, area code 513. Did you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion?
I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Question is, what do you suggest natural treatment for a peptic ulcer?
For a peptic ulcer? Well, for a peptic ulcer, number one, I'd be looking at my ulcer formulation, number 1396. Number 1396. Let's go take a look at formula number 1396. And I'm on my way. I'm over there. I'm going for it. And I'm there. And I'm over here now on Health and Herbs website. It's called betterhealthherbs.com. Over on betterhealthherbs.com website. And their telephone number is 541-791-8400. And I'm in their website and I type in 1396 because I still remember it. And I'm looking at it and it says, and it's abbreviated because they won't let you say stomach ulcers. That's against their rules to tell you to say that word. So they call it number 1396, and the name on it is S like Sam, T like Tom, M like Mary, C like Charles, and H like heaven or Harry. Stomach ulcers, ULCRS. Misspelled, abbreviated, hoping that you will be able to figure out what it's really good for, because the FDA won't let me tell you on a label. and what's inside of it. This formula for ulcers, stomach ulcers, has cranesbill root, marshmallow root, golden seal root, echinacea root, and poke root, which is good for the lymphatic glands, by the way, in a tiny amount. Only in a tiny amount would you take poke root. You never take a large amount of poke root, but a tiny amount of poke root is good for the lymphatics. So that is the herbal formulation for stomach ulcers. And if we talk about peptic ulcers, let's go take a look at peptic ulcer, because I can make sure you get one of the latest research reports on peptic ulcers, which will describe peptic ulcers completely, because there are over 500,000 new cases of peptic ulcers are reported each year. That's 500,000 people have peptic ulcers each year. And that's in the U.S. alone. And given time, at any given time, 5 million people in the United States are affected. 1 in 10 adults can expect to deal with painful ulcers at one point or another. So you want to remember that number 1396 ulcer formulation, because it's going to help you. For many years, doctors thought that high amounts of stress alone could cause a stomach ulcer to form, increasing production of stomach acid. And another thing is slippery elm bark powder. Take a little bit of slippery elm bark powder, stir it up in a cup and drink it down. That's what you'd give somebody if they were having pain from stomach cancer, let alone a peptic ulcer. That's what you would use to take and put out the pain and nourish the body, would be slippery elm bark powder. So people with ulcers, that's what they do. Now, Dr. Christopher, he was an interesting fellow. And he tells a story about going to a convention. Whenever he would go to a convention, go somewhere, he would always get a knock on the door, he said. And people would say, hey, I got ulcers and I'm having an ulcer attack, what can I do? And he'd hand them a little baggie of cayenne pepper. And they'd say, whoa, I can't take that. And he'd say, take it. Take a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of it right now, stir it up in some water or apple juice and get it down. And they say, oh, doctor, okay, I'll do it. And he said that would happen about 4, 5, 6 times. They'd knock on his door and he'd be handing people little baggies of cayenne pepper. And he said then in the morning he'd go down to breakfast. And when he got down to breakfast, he'd have people coming by and patting him on the back and saying, wow, that was the best night's sleep I ever had. My ulcer calmed down. It don't bother me anymore. I really want to thank you. Because he claims that cayenne pepper will seal and close an ulcer, and then you're done with that pepper. So anyway, that's a Dr. Christopher remedy. But anyway, for research emerged in the 1980s showing that frequent use of anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, like aspirin, which is a poor lifestyle and a poor diet, especially when you don't have any acidophilus that we just talked about earlier. Ulcers, people with ulcers, they don't have enough bacteria in their stomach. They need acidophilus, and they're not getting it. So, and so they're showing that it causes a bacterial infection. That these NSAIDs, and we got an open mic, and I'm looking for it, and I'm going to close it for the moment. In Ohio, you have a question or a topic or a suggestion?
Shalom, Doc. Yeah, when you get a chance, could you please talk about two natural herbs? Is it Buchu leaf and L-theanine?
Okay, did you say what kind of leaf?
Is it Bucha leaf? Bucha? I may be pronouncing it wrong. I think it's Bucha leaf.
I'm not getting the word you're saying.
B-U-C-H-A. Bucha. Bucha leaf.
Bucha. Ah, okay. Buchu. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about Buchu leaf. All right. We can do that. All right. As soon as we get done here, we'll talk a little bit more about stomach ulcers. But see, these aspirins and a bad lifestyle, bad diet. See, you need to look at that Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that's on the herbalhealthreview.com. Because the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system is gonna give you the first things that you should do. And what is some of the first things? It includes that acidophilus, so that you've got the friendly bacteria. Between the ulcer formula and acidophilus, that alone should clear up the problem. If you've got a really bad case, sure, some slippery elm bark powder going to help to cool it down and help you to get rid of it. Because a lot of these people are having this infection. It's called Helicobacter pylori, H. pylori. And that's cleared up. That'll clear up with acidophilus powder. So, and unfortunately, according to an article published in the Lancet, a prevalence of H. pylori infection and peptic ulcer diseases have become substantially less prevalent than they were 2 decades ago. But they're saying that they're connected. What I get out of that is there's not so many, there's not so many cases of it now as there was. But the fact that they're connected, that they know they're connected, that they know that you've got that unfriendly bacteria in your stomach that's causing this, and it keeps coming, and you don't know what to do about it because you don't know about acidophilus powder or the acidophilus capsules. Well, anyway, that's a little bit about stomach ulcer. That it starts eating away the lining of your stomach and so forth, and and there's all kinds of different ulcers. There's duodenal ulcers. The duodenum is the proximal portion of the small intestine that is about 10 inches long, and it plays an important role in the digestion of food. We're getting back to the digestion again. We're getting back to the dill, because those kinds of things are going to help your digestion. Slippery elm bark is going to help your digestion. The friendly bacteria is going to help your digestion. It's all digestion. That's what's going on with the ulcers. And so you can't digest, and then but this duodenum, it plays an important role in the digestion of food, since it holds the bile. The bile duct and the pancreatic duct both empty into the duodenal, so it can be obstructed or dilated when the bile production changes in response to other things going on in the body. That's duodenal ulcers. Then there's esophageal ulcers. This is a peptic ulcer that develops just above your stomach, in your esophagus, the tube that carries food from your mouth down to your digestive organs. And then there's bleeding ulcers, which are unresolved ulcers, can start bleeding, which causes other complications, and bleeding ulcers are considered the most dangerous of all. And bleeding internally can also contribute to ulcers when there's a broken blood vessel in your stomach or small intestine. And finally, then there's gastric ulcers. In some people with gastric ulcers, there's an increase in the amount of hyperacidity of the gastric juices, changing the effects that the stomach acid has on the lining of the GI tract. In general, gastric ulcers are another name to describe small openings in the stomach lining that leads to stomach ulcer formation. So those are the 4 types, generally. So what's going on? You get abdominal pains, burning sensations, including bloating, especially after eating and between the belly and breastbone, bleeding when vomiting or going to the bathroom, nausea and vomiting, darker stools, loss of appetite, changes in body weight, trouble sleeping due to the pain, and other digestive complaints like heartburn, acid reflux, feeling gassy, the risk of perforation of the organ lining, a life-threatening condition requiring emergency surgery to repair small openings in the lining of the GI tract, dehydration, weakness and fatigue, if food intake is changed in response to pain when eating, and diarrhea can occur as a symptom even before other stomach ulcer symptoms start. So how long does it take to heal? Usually 2 or 3 months to heal. And duodenal ulcers tend to heal quicker. Gastric ulcers, than gastric ulcers, while most ulcers are capable of healing. An ulcer can come back if precautions aren't taken. If you just decide, I'm not going to take any acidophilus anymore, I'm going to quit, or you forget, you take it out of your diet, it can come, then your ulcers can come back. Anyway, there's all kinds of research shows that about 35% of patients with ulcers experience other complications besides immediate pain, including the chance for severe perforation of the lining of the GI tract and internal bleeding. and you can die. You could die from an ulcer in your stomach. And while ulcers are often pretty painful and can trigger other digestive symptoms, they commonly don't raise a big risk for death or very serious illness, unless you just kind of let it go and let it go. A high percentage of ulcers, up to 90% of all cases, can be resolved. They can be resolved without the need for surgery or serious medication. So I've got a complete report on this. It gets deeper than that, but we got to move on to other things. Main thing is there's no smoking, quit alcohol, and there's just a lot more information I need to share with you on it, but this could go on and take over the whole broadcast. So that's it. And if you want me to send you a copy of this report, email me, Truman, Truman, at herbalhealthreview.com. Truman at herbalhealthreview.com.